All right, we're here at Boot Barn with Bob Tallman and Wayne Brooks, the two announcers that run the show, the Reno Rodeo. First, we'll speak with Wayne a little bit. Wayne, you were raised in Wyoming. You've been doing the Reno Rodeo for about 5 years?
Yeah, something like that. That's pretty close.
Okay, and you're the one on the horse doing all the commentating. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved. I read a little bit about what you did, and you kind of fell into this job by default.
I did. I rode bareback horses and was terrible at it, so I just wanted to try and figure out another way I could still hang out at the rodeo with my buddies and enjoy it, and lo and behold, they pay you for it. I've got the best job in the world. I get to ride around, brag on my friends, and hang out with this guy right here. So,
Talk about the first time you ever started doing the commentating.
oh, I think it's like any job for anybody is just stumble around and don't have any idea what you're doing, but a little perseverance, a little try, and you can get it done.
And you two both really keep us entertained throughout the whole rodeo. I don't think there's a dull moment, especially with Troy playing in part with you guys.
Troy's a great partner, and I'll tell you what, it's just a good match. It's a good mix, and we have all of the ingredients, all of the products to put together to make a great show. So it's easy. I hate to say it that way, but it is. It's easy. When you have the right people around you, it makes a big difference.
Right, and I have to recognize this. You were the 2010 PRCA Announcer of the Year.
You bet.
How did that feel?
Yeah, it was great. Fantastic. Unbelievable.
Second time, okay.
Just
2005 was the other time, correct?
You're right. You're right. Just a great honor to be, recognized. Just to even be in the same group with the guys that are nominated is a great deal. So
Now,
glad to be part of it.
Do you travel all around the United States doing this?
You bet, sure do. All over. We're kind of like independent subcontractors, so we'll go from New York to Florida to Calgary to California and all over the place.
And are all the rodeos a week long, or a little over a week?
No, a lot of them are 2 or 3, 4 days. Very few are 10 or 15 days, but then some are 20 and 30 days. So it just depends on which one you're at.
Would you say the Reno Rodeo is one of the longest you've been to?
10 days is a pretty good amount of time. It's probably in the top 5% of rodeos in the country as far as the length of time. But that's great. There's not a lot of communities that are as supportive as Reno, and that's what makes this rodeo great. It's what makes it so huge is the people that support it, that we can have 10 days. If they only wanted to come for 2 or 3, then we'd only have 2 or 3, but they want to come for 10.
Very nice. Well, thanks, Wayne.
You bet.
And to my right is Bob. Bob, you have been here, well, you said, since dirt. You're from Winnemucca.
Well, I didn't have anything else to do. I've been unemployed for a long time, and I've never really had a real job. So this looked like it was going to fit, and there'd never be another poor day. And that all started about 1969.
And I had to recognize your awards as well. 8 times PRCA Announcer Award.
They didn't have anybody else on the nomination ballot those years, and so they just said, "I'll give it to the old guy."
No. So just to let you know, Bob is the one up in the stands, meeting with people here and there, getting some people to kind of go on and talk, as well as you're commentating throughout the whole night.
Well, I try to fit in between Brooks and Troy Lerwell, and it's a very difficult thing to do. They carry me for 2.5 hours every day, and Wayne writes down every night before we start what he wants me to say, and then he mentions my name or nods to me, and I read it real quick.
So I have a question. Since you've been doing this since dirt, what did you do before Brooks? Or Brooksy, as you call him.
Brooksy. Well, I had other guys that wrote it down, and I read it. And when I'm by myself, they fax it to me because I don't do computers. And then I have my script for the night wherever I might be at the time. And the only thing that they don't fax to me is my Boot Barn stuff. Do you like the Reno Rodeo?
I do, and
Isn't it amazing?
My dad used to be a part of the association back in the day. Yes, in the early 80s, and then he quit probably around the 19...
Now you talk about the early 80s like it was in another century or something.
Well, it was before I was born.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How old are you?
I am 23.
Really?
Yes.
I've got shorts and socks older than you.
All right, well, let's talk about the Reno Rodeo for a second.
Yes.
Now, how did you get involved with the Reno Rodeo?
I was unemployed, and they felt sorry for me and said they'd let me talk. And I said, deal. And they paid me money.
They paid you money, so that was a deal.
It sealed the deal. And that was like 33 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Very nice. And you're still doing it to this day and you're not sick of it?
Oh, no. it keeps you from having, to be at home all the time. And if you don't like motorhomes and hotels and things like that, or living on the road and, doing your own laundry, programming your own travel, and it keeps you with thousands of people. Wayne Brooks and I will talk to about 600,000 people every year live. And, well, more than that, because we're getting ready to go to Calgary, and we talk to 30,000 a day. That's 300,000. Plus, we're on about 8 television networks there and streaming video. So we'll talk to probably 4 or 5 million people there, but we talk to about 6 million people a week.
Very nice. Well, thank you, too, for the interview. Stay tuned. The Reno Rodeo goes all the way until Saturday.